beautiful money shot. Look at that. Look at that sun stress. Ooh, look at that one in the back. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it loves it. It loves it. They say full sun, right? Right? We want full sun, but oh wow, that's really yellow. Ooh, look at that. It's dying off at the tip. Okay, okay. It looks like a little bit of scale from once before. From once came. Stupid ass PC. Ain't nobody want that anyways. Alright, how we doing, guys? It is Troy with Sonoran Spores. We're back with another one. Looking at how to set up and prepare for the summer. We just had summer solstice, and that means the days are gonna finally start getting shorter. The sun's setting at like fucking 8 right now. But it's gonna stay UV index hot. This is really when summer begins, right? And it's been 105 to 107 for us for like the past couple weeks. It's looking like 115's coming soon. And 120 is usually not around the corner. And then at some point in the terrible 120s, we will get a break for a week. We'll get a nice monsoon. Hopefully we all hope for it. Doesn't always come, but sometimes it does. And with that nice break, we'll get probably like 90 degrees, 80% humidity, shit ton of mosquitoes, but it'll be cooler. It'll be cooler, and the cactus will like it. So, you know, that's what we have to look forward to here in Phoenix. So I want to look at these shoguns real quick because nobody here is really sun stressing. Now, I've been slowly acclimating them. I'll show you this. Look at that fresh growth. Look at that. That's on the Precious. That's on my Precious. This one is my nicest rootstock, and that's how you know that shit took. Let's go. So what I did is I started them back here, and I'm inching them forward. I also had a chair that blocks the rays. Let's see. Maybe if I come on over here, so you can see that dappled shade effect going. That's because these guys over here were getting a little more sun stress than these ones. For Phoenix, the thicker the cactus, the better it's gonna deal with stuff like that. But everybody's all right. Everybody's thriving. Some nice sturdy grafts, thanks to my wife. And let's go see some other dudes that have been suffering and some kind of, I want to say, redneck ways that I've been dealing with it. I just kind of tie things to cactus. That's really what I do to deal with. If it falls over, I tie it to a pole. If it starts sunburning, I start tying things to it to stop the sunburning. So let's take a look at what that looks like in practice. We're back at this guy. Just wanted to add one more thing. You know, if you think I'm gonna move this, I'm not. He's all right. It's a fucking PC, bro. If it dies, it dies. You know. But he's got some nice arms. He's probably just gonna fully cork over like his brother right there. What I really want to pay attention to is, geez Louise, this thing is in straight morning sun for like 3 hours, and it's still too much here in Phoenix. You know, if the sun isn't getting filtered and your cacti are not healthy and ready to deal with it, it's gonna be a stressful time. It's gonna be a stressful time. So I would say tip number 1 is when it is the spring, the winter, the fall, make sure you get them healthy before summer comes. I'm talking feed them with some base nutrients or give them a nice repot once a year, and that soil will have basically the base nutrients. Unless you have them in the ground, which would be preferred, they're gonna wanna healthen up, or else you're gonna start to see the yellow monster. All right, let's go take a look at the other cactus. All right, now let's talk about the miracle tape, my duct tape of the planting world. Now you might look at this abomination and say, Troy, what the hell is this? Who in their right mind would do this? Well, I would, obviously. I did it, it's obvious. But I love to just tape these arms up right here and get them to grow a little bit. The key is he's gonna use this chlorophyll to photosynthesize his roots down here, which will in turn push out beautiful basil pups. Now in the long run, I'm gonna cut it right there. And this is just gonna be a little stump, cut. And then there's gonna be a bunch of nicer pups coming off the bottom, right? But it's important that I don't wanna stress it by taking off like half of its growth. And think about it, there's a lot of carbohydrates in here. There's a lot of sugars, stuff that is stored up through the years. So It's not gonna be happy if I do that. So we tape it up and we let it rock for a little bit. It's not gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill it eventually, that arm. So I don't see a rush. Why people just rush it like, oh, well, I'm gonna kill it now. Look, it stopped growing that much up here. It's gonna start focusing down here, give us nice growth. But let's go over what this miracle Band-Aid tape is. This, my friends, is called grafting tape. Now, grafting tape is used for grafts, specifically plant grafts and tree grafts. But I use it for grafts like this. So I'll put the tape over and I'll attach it down here and then push it with the pressure. You've probably seen some videos that we've done. But I'll use it for this. So I've used it to graft onto there. I'll use it for this guy to hold him up so that I could get some nice growth coming, some nice basil coming. And then let me show you what I do with it when somebody's sunburning. Now, here we are at my full sun Nuestra Bonita. You can see a little ghillie suits on there. Now, it's important to talk about why he's sun stressing, you know? Why is, if I move this back, why is this dying like that and just sun stressing? It gets very hot on the skin during the full sun. The answer to the question of why is he sun stressing, you know, he's always been in full sun for the past 2 years. He's flowered in full sun. He always manages it well, but this year in particular, it's pretty bad. The answer to the question is, I don't fucking know. You don't always have to know everything, right? But you can know one thing. It's sun stressing. I know my cactus and I know them well. That's very, very good growth right there, that arm. And then you can see yellow and just stressed growth. It's not gonna die, but this thing is leaning pretty hard, so eventually this arm is gonna fall. It's my only flowering tip arm of him, so I don't want it to fall. So you can see where I've used my tape. I've strategically duct taped right on the ghillie suit that is this cactus. Now, watch the contrast from this side that gets afternoon sun. And I've just placed these on. But he's doing all right. He was sunburning a little bit. You can see some stress. But look at the contrast from this side to the other side. Beautiful, nice green growth. The morning sun, he's fine with. This is all pristine, right? But the rest he's not. He's just not fine with. Now, I'm not gonna do anything about this guy's sun stressing, because he's kind of always historically pushed through it. But this guy showed a little bit. That's snake. So what I did here is I got this milk crate, right? So this milk crate blocks him from where he was sun stressing. You can see nice growth now because I fixed it. I'm awesome like that. No, I'm just kidding. But if I wanted to, bam. That's the ultimate redneck way that I've learned myself by just looking at things around my house and going, you know what? I'm gonna fasten that to it. And then if I need to, just take, that's not good. Take this, and you can put it over that, right? Start building even additional shade for the top. So there's lots of things that we can do. Second thing we can do is hook it up to drip. Now that's irrigation. And I'm gonna show you the guys in my tent that's irrigating. You see, this guy got a little bit of sun stress, bam. I just do a cutting over it. But let's show you in the tent what's happening and the irrigation that helps all of those guys in pots. Because these guys in the ground are sun stressing. You know the pots are not happy. Look at that. Got a Peruvian times Helen monstrusing after 3 feet of growth. Making some nice lines. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. You always distract me. The growth. All right, so nobody in here is doing bad. Take a look at this. Everybody's fine. This is my big tent. And everybody's got bigger pots. So with the bigger pots comes a reservoir of water on the bottom that they really can hold on to longer than a pot like this. This guy will dry up. You can see a little bit of sun stress. The sun stress, I believe, is because they are dehydrating from their roots, like getting just toasted, and they're just not really able to rebound fully with the waterings. Now this guy, he has been able to rebound fully every single time. All of these big ones in here are doing spectacular. They get watered twice a week. They get watered on Friday and on Monday. Now strategically, no, that's right. Yeah. Strategically do it every 4 days. And I always do it with the sow drip, doing way more water than they need, so that none of the calcium or anything builds up on the surface and it all just runs down to, I have an oleander over there, and that thing is just incredibly hard to kill. So he just gets all the wash off from this, and that's how I water the oleander. And I keep the soil nice. Get these nice fat growths that are supple and succulent. So now let's look at the smaller tent, and maybe some guys not doing quite as well, and what I'm gonna do to solve that. All right, so let's look at that. Eee, a little bit of sun stress. Yee, a little bit of sun stress. This guy. Oh, wait, hold up. He's cooking. Now, why is that? I don't know. I think he might have soil that holds on to the water better. So if you look at the way the holes are, they're like an inch above the ground on that pot. And on the other pots, the holes are on the ground. And I think that allows for a little reservoir of water to build. See, this is on the ground, so there's no reservoir of water, sun stress. But the other one, the Fields Macro, did have some reservoir of water area. The hole is an inch above where the bottom is. So that kind of allows for a little reservoir to build up and gives him access to water. I think that might be why he's not sun stressing, but who knows? We were just looking at. And if you don't need to give them bigger pots because maybe he's just not big enough yet, you need to water more frequently. Especially here in Arizona when it dries out, I don't think that you can really overwater these. Let's take a walk through to see if anybody's really rotted. Nobody's rotted. You see, the thing is, ooh, look at those seedlings. Ooh, look at this seedling, bro. That's a double arm seedling right there. There's some sun stress. The thing really is that I left this drip on overnight, completely overnight. And I woke up to like a pond out here. Like it was soaked on that Bergessi. It was just filled in pond. And nobody's rotted. I did that on accident 2 weeks in a row. So I accidentally watered it, and each one of these emitters right here, water will drip out. And I left it on all night, and I woke up to like everything was completely soaked. Turned it off, let it dry out, everybody's fine. So this isn't it's kind of hard to overwater them when you get to starting to see the signs of sun stress. The thing is you still probably want to let them dry out in between though. So like it's like a 1 to 2 day period that you can't overwater. If they stay saturated for like 3 days, 4 days, because of the sun stress, they might be a little bit weaker to rot, and then they might rot. So that's something to keep in mind. But they all rebound very, very nicely with that. I'm gonna start upping the seedling tent's water. Oh, look at that baby cactus. I'm gonna up the seedlings tent water to probably every 3 days or every other day. I'm gonna play around with it. Nobody's really gonna die. And I might also put a shade cloth over the front right here so that none of these guys die. But this is why I've set it up this way. So I actually have it so that I can come right here and shut this off. And it will only ever water the seedlings now. So I can separate this tent and give them more water than my big tent because they just need it because of pot size. So that's something to keep in mind with the sun stress. You know, the little guys will want a little more babying. Everybody's in shade and they still get a little bit of sun stress if they're not getting babied. Let's take a look at this guy real quick. Look at that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. I just found this one. That's new to me. Look at that little baby. Let's see if I can not get jibber jabbed. Ooh, look at that little baby. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I call this one a big one. 7. 7 new pups coming in on this guy. That's nice. All right, now let's go look at seedlings and how we do the seedlings during this awful heat. All right, here we are with the seedlings. Ooh, direct morning sun, that hurts. So as you can see, there's not really many except bigger ones that could take the direct morning sun. I'm kind of curious how that little one's gonna do. Everybody else in here is really shaded up. And there's this section of shade, which is shaded by the house right now. So these guys are all fully shaded. And then this section is letting some through. So that's about 50% sun on these guys. And then back there, the teepoo and the cloth is going through. So it's probably, you can see a little bit coming through. Probably about like 80% filtered, I'd say, in the back there. The seedlings, I've strategically put them in a spot where once summer comes, they're really not dealing with the sun. They'll deal fine with indirect sun. And you can see there's no etiolation. Everybody's looking good. Look, we even got, where was that little guy? Look at that little guy. Even that little one's still going. We'll see if he lives. I doubt it, but we got a cool one right there. I really like that guy. Now, what I like to do is I want to show you the size difference here between this one and this one. Once they start getting big like this, and you'll notice it starts to put off what I call mature growth. So the distance between the spines right here, very close together. Mature growth will start when the distance between the spines widens out. And that's when the cactus also starts getting thicker usually. You can see it on this Burgess right here. All of the thorns are stack. And it starts widening. And then you get to the tip up here, and there's actually a decent amount of distance in between. So this is thicker, mature growth. Once you start to see some of that, I move them to actually direct sun. And usually their own pot. So over here, these guys get direct sun. And they will handle it because they have that. I probably put this dude out here like right here. So all of this growth has all been in direct sun. A lot of my thicker seedlings are all direct sun guys. And I'll say probably at about 9-ish, you can see the shades already starting to come back here. It starts to creep on up. Once they get the shade, it will be probably about 95% shade until they get another hour of afternoon sun, which is probably around 4. And I'm kind of surprised that they tolerate it, but they do tolerate it once they get to like that nice mature growth size. Once he starts tolerating that, then I move them here and they're fine. They really like the direct sun. So this will be their first year now with direct sun. You can see that he's actually putting off nice thick growth. And what we're gonna do now is next year put them in straight shade cloth, where it's direct sun all the time plus shade cloth. That's really gonna plump them up and get them better. You don't need to do it, but that's how I like to acclimate them. Here's a wobble. Wobble, 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 wobble. And then all my cuttings, like these guys, I try not to start them too late. These guys have all been probably rocking for a month. And then I will water them. And even if they don't have roots down there, it dries out so quick naturally when it's like 115 that it's fine, they don't rot. And I think that they prefer it to really start to get going. Looks like this guy might have been soaking some up. Yeah, he's nice and plump, so he's got roots now. So it's working. So don't be afraid if you're living somewhere super hot and dry to water your cuttings, you know, after a month or so, or if it's in like 110 to 115. Just don't give them super deep waterings on consistent days. Like don't do it 3-4 days in a row. This guy's underneath a tree so that they get sheltered from the rain. So only I'm the one that gives them water, if that makes sense. Let's make sure you're fine, buddy. And yeah, I think that's it. I'll try to see if I can think of anything else. If not, please enjoy your day. Please make sure that you go on out into the world and you do something positive, even if it's for somebody you like a family member. Just do something. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Let me know if you like any of these cactus or which ones your favorites are. And if you watched the video this far, tell me aloha like you're Hawaiian. Or maybe just hello. Either one, I appreciate it. Have a good one and take care.